Patra Foundation. He is a social worker, spiritualist, and preacher of the divine knowledge. He is practitioner of principle of Bhagavad Gita. He provides mentorship to the youth of the nation. With these words, I invite Prabhu Raghav Charan Das to take the session.
Am I audible? Just want to check once. I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you, Manipal University, and the organizers for asking me to deliver this session and giving me this wonderful opportunity to share the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita with all of you. And all of you are world-class teachers and world-class knowledgeable people, and to share such knowledge and to discuss about this the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is really a great fortune for me, because in the Bhagavad Gita itself, when Krishna starts speaking to Arjun, he chooses Arjun to speak this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita because Arjun was a great chariot driver. Not only that, he was a great archer. He was the king, and he was the best student of his guru or of his teacher. So he was the king. He was having all the knowledge. He was the great archer. And so, if it comparison to that, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is meant for the intelligent class of people. And so to get such an opportunity to discuss among all of you is really a great fortune for me. So I would like to start the session with just few prayers, and then we'll discuss about the game of life. What does the game of life mean, and how all of us want to play this game of life uh, with a great pleasure, just like we play other games in our lives. So, if you see in today's world, not even just today's world, if you consider from the moment of the creation, then everyone is searching for one thing in his life. Whether it's a small child, whether it's a great big businessman, whether it's an old person, whether it's a men, women, anyone in this entire world, every living entity, even the animals, all of them are searching for this one thing. And what is that one thing which we all are looking for every work what we do, for everything morning to night, for even in our dreams, getting up, sleeping late in the night, whatever we are doing, whatever work we are doing. Today you are coming here joining us for this session. We all are searching for this one thing. And what is that one thing? So I'll play a small video. This is one of the most searched word on the internet. And what is that one word?
In the last 6 months, more than 1,000 books have been published about it. Universities around the world are teaching on it. For 30 years, scientists have been studying it. Governments are appointing cabinet positions to oversee it. The United Nations named an official day after it. Google Analytics prove people are searching for it. In fact, it's one of humanity's oldest pursuits. Happiness.
So this is one of the most searched word on internet, and happiness is something which we all are looking for. For every activity what we do, for everything what we see, for everything what we work for every action what we take in our life is for this one thing, and that is happiness. All of you must be agreeing with me on this point that each one of us are looking for happiness, contentment, satisfaction in our life. Either it can be a very good salary, a good car, you know, a a young student would like to have a good college and a fat salary. So anything, whatever we want in our life is just for one thing, and that is, what is the end result we want from everything. What we need in our life is happiness. So everyone is trying to find happiness by various means. So a small child, he will searching for happiness in a balloon. If you give a small child a car, he won't be happy. He wants a balloon. So he derives pleasure from the balloon. And when this same child he grown up, then he wants a bicycle. He wants to enjoy or take happiness, pleasure from the bicycle. And the same child, when he little grown up, then he wants a football. Now he does not find happiness in the balloon. Now if you give him the balloon, he won't be happy, he won't feel pleasure. But now he wants a football to become happy or to feel pleasure. And when a person grown up, then he finds pleasure or happiness in getting married. So there he finds the pleasure. Now see how in different stages of our life we find pleasure in different things. And then he wants a businessman finds happiness or pleasure in earning money. And when a person gets old, then he derives the pleasure in getting the love of a granddaughter or a grandson. So, in various stages of our life, we try to find happiness from different things, from different relations. Why is it so that we, in our this life itself, we go through various changes, and in that various changes, we want to derive pleasures in different ways. The reason being is because from any of the things what we have taken into our life or what we are looking for pleasure or happiness, we are thinking this a small child is thinking balloon is giving me the happiness. Or when he little grown up, he's thinking that the football playing is giving me the happiness. And then a businessman is thinking this money, earning this money is giving me the happiness. But then every one of us are not happy even after getting all these things, because and we are trying various ways and means. We are trying to find happiness in various different things. The reason being is because still now none of us have got the fulfilling happiness from anything in our life. That fulfilling contentment we have not got from anything. Either it is a balloon, it's a football, it's getting married, earning the money, it's getting purchasing a new car or new house. We are not getting that fulfilling happiness in our life. That's why we are always looking for happiness. And so you see in the world today, there are different fashions what people do, and different kinds of hairstyles what people keep. What is the real purpose? What is the goal behind all that? Or to wear different branded new dresses, Versace, Dolce Gabbana, Gucci. There are different brands available in the market today, and so everyone is want to derive happiness by wearing new clothes of various brands, costly brands, having a new hairstyle. So people do different fashion to derive happiness. And not only that, people sometimes they do daredevil acts. They do paragliding, then they take a parachute, and then they jump from the 15,000 feet or 20,000 feet, and then they come down. Sometimes the parachute does not get open, and even they die. So even at the cost of their life, people want to derive happiness. That means happiness is something which is very intrinsic in all of us, and we all are looking for that. How can I get happiness? And for that, even we are ready to sacrifice our life. So one thing is, as we are and discussing more and more, one thing is we are reaching to the conclusion is all of us need happiness, and there is nothing wrong in searching for the happiness. Then sometimes some people play sports to derive happiness. They go for a morning walk, they go for a morning jogging, yoga, asana, pranayam, eating different foods, varieties of foods, all just for one thing, and that is happiness. Sometimes people take to intoxications, they smoke, they drink, although they are knowing that if they smoke, then it's going to produce lung cancer. But still, because they want to derive happiness, they are ready to sacrifice their health for it. Then partying around, all everything what we do is for one thing, and that is happiness. That's why it is the most searched word on internet. So now let us come to this understanding that we all need happiness. Now, what is the definition of happiness for us? What is the definition? So I just request all of you to just think over it. What do you think? What does from what all things you derive happiness? And if somebody asks, okay, I give you an opportunity to become happy. Ask me five things you need in your life to become happy. Just think over, as I cannot, I don't think so. I can ask you to unmute and answer. I'm not sure about it. So just think over, and maybe you can write it down on a paper, or you can just think five things. If somebody is going to come to you and ask any five things in from the life you want to derive happiness, what you would ask. What is the definition of happiness for all of you? What does something what you need in your life which is really going to give you happiness? What is that five things, or one thing, or two thing, or three thing, any, or maybe even 10 things from which you can derive happiness, and once you receive it, you will be like, okay, now I'm completely satisfied, and now I'm completely content. I'm feeling that true happiness now. So in general, what is the definition of happiness for all of us? Well, in the 99% of the population in the today's world having this definition of happiness, and that is how we can improve the facility of eating. If we can eat nicely, if we can eat more, then we consider it as happiness. If we can go to the best of the restaurants, or to the best of the places where the food is really tasty, and if we can eat that, then we consider that as a happiness. We think if we improve the eating, then we can become happy. There are many people who say, I live for eating. They don't eat for living, they live for eating. But there is one problem in this. And what is that? Just think of one dish which you like the most. Maybe it may be gulab jamun, rasgulla, or any of the namkeen items. It you like it most. And if I serve you, say for instance, gulab jamun, if I serve you 100 gulab jamun at a time, how many you can eat? 10, 15, 20, 25. After 25th, you will be like, no, I cannot eat more now. I cannot take more of it. You will be like, no, I'm satisfied. So means even what you like to eat, if that is available to you, that also you cannot enjoy unlimitedly. Why I'm using this word unlimitedly? Because if I ask you this question, how much happiness do you want? You want this much happiness, you want this much happiness, or you want this much happiness? All of you will say, we want unlimited happiness. And if I ask you how much suffering you want this much suffering, or this much suffering, then all of you will agree on this answer. We want no suffering. So we need a life where there is no suffering and unlimited happiness. So if we want unlimited happiness, and our definition of attaining the happiness is eating, then eating is not giving us the unlimited happiness, because we can eat only limitedly. And even sometimes when we overeat, then there is an indigestion, then we have to fast. So that is, eating is not going to give us the real contentment or satisfaction, or the definition of happiness. If we are having eating nicely is going to give me the happiness, if we are having this definition. Then improved sleeping. How can I sleep more? Prabhupada explains that when in Kolkata during the British reign, There were government employees, and they used to go to drop telegrams at people's house, and so they used to take out some time and they used to go home and sleep for 2 3 hours, and that they would consider as very pleasing or pleasurable happiness. Sleeping more, we consider it as happiness, especially now winter is going, and during winter we want to sleep more. And so therefore in today's market there are beddings available with varieties of beddings are available which can give us very nice comfort. And if somebody asks us, you can sleep 25 hours in a day, we are ready to do that also, although they are only 24 hours in a day. So we consider, if we can improve the sleeping habits, or if we can improve the sleeping, then that is happiness for me. And mating is another definition of people considering it as happiness, and that's why the today's internet is being flooded with such things where people think that mating is something which is going to give them the happiness, but actually it's all bring out more trouble. And then defending, we see all around the borders, we have got so many soldiers who are defending all of us, or there are all over the world there are soldiers, and lakhs and millions and trillions of rupees have been invested to protect the boundaries of the country, and no one can enter without the permission. So this is our definition. If we can improve the quality, if we can improve the facilities for eating, sleeping, mating and defending, that what we consider as happiness. But this is not the happiness. There's something even more than that. Now let us compare this with the animals. Human beings, we think that eating, sleeping, mating and defending, if we can improve that, then that is going to give me the happiness. Now let us compare the animals. Even the animals are also searching for these four things, and they are deriving happiness. Eating, yes, every animal eats, and they are also looking, they also have friends, they also have fun, they also have family. So animals are also doing this, and animals find happiness in eating, sleeping, mating and defending. A dog, when another dog comes into the same street with already a dog is living, then immediately the dog starts barking, and he starts barking and throw him out of the street. So he is also defending. He is also looking out for food, eating. He also sleeping, and he is also mating. So eating, sleeping, mating, and defending is common in both humans and animals. Then what is the difference? Now some of you might be feeling, we have got improved eating habits, improved sleeping habits, mating habits, and defending habits. But if you consider after sleeping, does you really realize that where are you sleeping? Once we are in the dreams, do we really realize where we are sleeping? Similarly, a dog, the thing what we are doing is the same. Either we are sleeping on a very nice cushion, or a dog is sleeping on the street. Once the sleep is there, there is no difference. So then what is the difference between humans and animals? Do animals lack intelligence? Now this can be another point which anyone can put, that animals does not have enough intelligence, whereas human beings do have. But if you see, even the animals have intelligence. How? If you remember, all of you must have experienced this. A cat, when a cat enters the house, and the cat knows in the kitchen there is milk has been kept, and the cat also knows that people will be around this home, people will be in the home, and so I must be very careful. Without making any sound, I should enter into the kitchen, drink the milk and go away. And that's how the cat does. So that means even the cat has the intelligence that there are people around, and if I make the sound, then I will be caught. So better is not to make any sound. Or if you pick up a stone, and if the dog sees that you have picked up the stone, then immediately the dog will run away. Intelligence, The dog knows now you're going to hit him. So even the animals have got the intelligence. Then what is the difference between animals and human beings? Now, if we consider the eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, and let us compare with the animals, you see, an eagle, the eagle has much more ability to see from the top of the sky. The eagle can see the smallest of the object on the ground. The horse can run much more faster than what we can, and the dog can produce 12 children at a time. 12 children at a time. And where a human being can only produce one, two, or three maximum. An elephant eats 70 pounds of food every day. 70 pounds. Now, that much we cannot eat in a month or maybe in a week. So, and the polar bear, all of us like to sleep. A polar bear sleeps for 6 months continually. 6 months. We sometimes when we sleep for 2 days, 3 days, we feel wow, I have slept so much. But a polar bear sleeps for 6 months. So even if you consider the sleeping, mating, and defending, animals are much better than the human beings, isn't it? Then what is that which is differentiating animals and human beings? What is that which is making us different from animals? Because right now the definition for all of us for happiness is eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, and that we consider even the animals are doing, and they are much better in it. Then as a human being, what is that which is making us different from them? So animals also have rational power and intelligence, and animals are even better than human beings. Now, another point. But human beings have advanced technology where animals don't have. So now let us discuss about the present technology which is available to all of us. And because of the technology today, all of us are able to connect and we are able to share this knowledge. We are able to discuss on this point. But I want to really ask all of you, and all of you also ask yourself, because sometimes we don't even question what we are doing or what we are seeing around the world. Does the technology what is available in the world today has really helped us? Because if our ultimate goal is to become happy, does the technology has really made us happy? I give you some practical examples in the world today. There is one famous personality named as Jack Ma, who is the owner of the company named as Alibaba. All of you must be aware of him. He is one of the Asia's richest person. And so while he was being interviewed, and thousands of people were sitting around and he was being interviewed by reporters, the one of the reporters asked the question to this person, Jack Ma, what is the biggest mistake you have done in your life? What is that one biggest mistake you have made in your life? You know, Asia's richest person, he was then when he was being asked this question. What is the biggest mistake? So everyone was all ears to hear what this man has done a mistake, biggest mistake of his life. So he replied, the biggest mistake of my life is to start this company named Alibaba. Everyone was astonished or surprised to hear this answer from this person, saying that the biggest mistake of his life is to start this company, Alibaba. They were amazed. They were started thinking, this company which has given him all the richness, all the opulence, all the happiness which they were considering, and he's saying that this is the biggest mistake what he has done into his life. Further, he continued and he said, if I get one more life and one more chance, then I will never start such a company. Because I was thinking that this is going to give me happiness, but actually, and he started crying and he continued saying, but I cannot find time for my own self, for my own friends and family. And so, what is the meaning of owning such a big company? So we sometimes think that happiness comes from the technology, from the wealth what we earn. But all those people who are already experienced this, they are telling their own realization that it is not something which is giving them happiness. And if they get one more chance, they won't start such a company. I'll give another example. One of the famous dancer of the world, Michael Jackson, who has got millions and trillions of followers all over the world even today. What is the cause of his death? How he died? Some of you might be aware, and I'll still share that how he died was because of overdose of drug. So every night he used to inject a drug which for sleeping peacefully. Now all of us, as I already shared with you, that our definition of happiness is to improve the facilities for sleeping. And all of us think that if I can earn more money, if I can become more famous, and if I can, have a big bungalow, then I will be the happiest person. And then I can sleep very nicely. But you see, Michael Jackson, trillions, millions of followers, earning millions of rupees, and he is injecting drug to get a sleep, and he has injected so much drug to get a good sleep that he died of it. So these are some practical examples which we all can go through, and which we all can see in the world today. We think that the advancement of the technology has bringing a real good change, but yes, it is bringing the change, but the end result what we want from the advancement of the technology or from any actions what we do is happiness. Does it really bringing the happiness? If you see in the world today, the water is being polluted, the air is polluted, a person cannot breathe nicely, a person cannot eat nicely, the food has been injected with chemicals, cannot drink proper water because the water is polluted. And so today, although human beings, they have got control, they have brought tigers and lions from the forest, and they have made them to sit on the stool. They have, and they have trained them, they have guided them. So Martin Luther King, he says that what is the condition in today's world is, although people have guided the missile or they have control over the missile, but they do not have control over their own mind. They don't have a guided mind. So we have made so much control around things around us, but we have lost all control on our own self. So despite all this advancement, unfortunately modern day humans are dissatisfied, full of anxiety, stressed, depressed, and above all unhappy. So technological advancement help men enjoy better luxurious for eating, sleeping, mating, defending without offering true inner joy of heart. So yes, all the advancement of technology has brought us improved facilities of eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. But then, even I will say, I'll give another example of defending. We consider that, when we enter into another country, we have to go through so many check facilities where we have to show them our visa, then we have to go through security checkups, and then we are allowed to enter into another country. But what does this shows? Does it really shows that no such a high security? But if you see the other way around, why there is a need of high security? Because today the people have lost faith on each other. They can't trust you. That's why you have to go through such security checkups. If they trust you, then there is a need of security checkups. There is no need. That means today the world, nobody can trust each other. No one country can trust another country. No one state can trust another state. No one city can trust another city. Not even one neighbor can trust another neighbor. And even the things have reached to such an extent, not even our family members can trust each other. And so If you see the social networking site or social media available today, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, you might have millions of friends, but you won't find one good best friend whom which you can share your heart, whom which you can share your feelings with. And so although we consider the defending or the security forces, we have got such a nice security force, but we need to put cameras outside our house to just watch that nobody is entering our house. So things have led to such a change. So technological advancement has brought this change, that we have become much more fearful of people. We have lost more trust on the people. So animals, even they are better, because you will never find an animal committing suicide. No. But human beings do that. Recently, three IIT students in 2019 from the top college, they committed suicide. They don't do rights. There are no divorces in animals and there is no drug abuse. But whereas human beings does all these things. So what make human beings superior to animal? Now all of you must be thinking, oh, we must be an animal rather than human being. But that is not the point. The human being have got something which is superior. And what is that superiority is, there is a verse in the Mahabharata which says, Ahar nidra bhay maithunam cha samayanam etat pashubhir naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi samanaha. The activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending are common in animals and human beings. The human beings are considered superior only when they inquire about the higher dimension science involving the wisdom about God. So that is what make us superior to animals. The animals cannot come and inquire why I am suffering, why bad things happening to me, although I'm doing good to others, why I'm I have got this human form of life. What is the purpose of my existence? Why this creation has been done? Who has created this world? Who am I? All these questions only a human being can inquire, not an animal. Animal cannot do such inquiries, and his creation, his laws, the true inner fulfillment in life. Otherwise, they are considered just like animals. So, any human beings who does not make these inquiries, he is no better than animals. So, in that terms, if you see, we are no better than animals if we do not inquire such things and if we do not want to know about it. So the inquiries are like this: does God execrate of finding true guide? Is there life after death? Who is the supreme person? Can we get whatever we want in life? How to achieve unending happiness? How to make impossible into possible? Do we make destiny or destiny make us? These are all such inquiries which only human beings can make, otherwise, animals cannot. So, then how to make these right choices in life? So, good fruit, divine qualities. What are the divine qualities? Divine qualities are truthfulness, patience, self control, austerity, compassion. These are some divine qualities. What we want to achieve in our lives, what we dream, or which make us inspire when we see other acting on these principles. And what are the demonic qualities? Opposite to all that, no compassion, there is always lying. And these are the, so positive thinking bring us divine qualities and negative thinking bring us demonic qualities. So why positive thinking? We go to the mode of goodness, and with demonic qualities we go to the mode of ignorance. So now something very important. Now, as I have already told you, complete primary understanding of the life. Now, let us go for the solution. Now, let us approach the solution, that if we are better than animals, human beings are superior than animals, then how to go forward in life? So, let us consider our life as a book. And in a book, if there are 100 chapters, you can compare that yourself as 100 years you are going to live. And so each chapter is of 365 pages. And you now, if you are 40 years old, 30 years old, then already 30 chapters are over. But still, you have got 70 chapters in your life, and all the 70 chapters are blank. It is up to you how what you want to write on those pages, 365 into 70 chapters. What you want to write on those pages. Now the choice is in your hand, what you want to write on those pages. So one thing is to positive think, approach the life in a proper way, as we have already discussed, as to inquire about the life and to approach the life in that way. One possibility, another possibility, just like you see in the left, this person is becoming angry. He himself has got so much negativity and he's creating the negativity around the people whom which he is living with. So it's up to us to make this choice whether we want to get the positivity or the negativity and what we want to write in the further left 70 chapters of our life. So every one of us want ego-friendly and eco-friendly family. So there in the photo you see this family, although yes they are considered poor materially, they don't be having enough money, but they are much more united and they are much more happy. Where on the right side you see these people, they materially they are rich, they have got all the wealth, but still they are unhappy, they are not united. So although they have got lots of money, but there is love bankruptcy, but they have love bankrupt family. So what we do want to have from our life? Do we want a life which is full of money, but then there is no good relationship, there is no proper understanding, or we want a life where we have ego-friendly and eco-friendly family? So the choice is in your hand. And so I'll play a small video which says that if we want to learn something, then where we should approach.
When I was young, like most people, I was impressed by luxuries. And as I grew older, I realized it was about inner peace. I want to share this quote from Cooley. It's one of my favorites. Cooley said, "The challenge today is I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am." Just let that blow your mind for a moment. So basically, he's saying we live in a perception of ourselves. Meaning, if we think someone thinks we're smart, we feel smarter. If we think someone thinks we don't look good, we feel like we don't look good. At that time in my life, monks became my role models, and inner peace and self awareness became my goal. Now, if I wanted to learn how to play basketball, I would have wanted to learn from Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron James, right? If I wanted to be a movie director, I would have wanted to learn from Spielberg or Scorsese. If I wanted to be a musician, I would have wanted to learn from Michael Jackson. If I wanted to be a soccer player or a football player, I would have learned from David Beckham. If I wanted to be a business person, I would have learned from Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. But I wanted to learn how to master the mind, and I wanted to learn how to master myself. And there's no greater master in that thought process than the monks. When they did a study behind the brain scans of a monk, a 12-year brain study on meditation and compassion, led by a neuroscientist from the University of Wisconsin, Richard Davidson. Davidson hooked up a monk's brain to 256 sensors and found that when he was meditating on compassion, his mind was unusually light. The scans also showed excessive activity in his brain's left prefrontal cortex compared to its right counterpart, allowing him an abnormally large capacity for happiness and a reduced propensity towards negativity. I experienced that as part of my experiment, and I wanted that to become my reality. I wanted that to be where I focused my energy. So, find a mentor and role model and learn from them. Learn with them.
So this is a very important point which has been shared in the video is if we want to learn, as I said already quoted, although today we have control over the missiles we are sending to the moon or to the other planets, but we have lost control on our own mind. So if we want to learn how to live the life happily, if we want to learn how to control the mind, how to control the thoughts, which is full of negativity in today's era, especially, then we need to learn from somebody who is already doing it, from somebody who is already on that path, and there is none better than the monk who is already practicing that. So in the Bhagavad Gita, this picture comes which explains that how we are there in this body and the senses, what most of us do not have control over it, how it has been described. So this five horses, what you can see in the front, they are compared to the five senses what we have: eyes, nose, tongue. So the five horses and the five senses what we have. And the rein which is attached to these horses is compared to the mind. And the driver who is running, who is holding this rein attached to the senses, the horses, is the intelligence. So if we want to control the mind, then we need to sharpen our intelligence. And when we sharpen our intelligence, the intelligence controls the mind, and the mind controls the senses. Now I'll give you an example for it to make it more simpler. Many a times when we sit to do work, or when we think, now today I'm going to finish this task of mine, um, maybe 1 hour, and we think I will sit for finishing this task, and then we get distracted because of many things around us. Why we get distracted is because of the uncontrolled mind what we have. And so if we want to control the mind, we need to sharpen our intelligence. And so intelligence can be sharpened by various things that I'm going to discuss with all of you in the further slides. And if you book a cab, and if the driver comes and then you sit in the car and you say, take me where you want to, will that be considered as an intelligence? Not at all. You must be knowing where you want to go. But in today's world, what is happening with all of us, we do not know where we want to lead our life. And therefore, the five horses, the senses, they are going in different directions. We have uncontrolled mind. We don't have sharpened intelligence. We are unable to discriminate between what is good and what is bad. And we, as sitting behind, as a person who is sitting on the chariot, we are unable to guide the intelligence, mind, and the senses because we ourselves do not know where we want to lead our life to. So there are some innate qualities which all of us are having, and the acquired qualities what we acquire from the outside world. And what such acquired qualities, we bad qualities we acquire from the world is just like person who is postponing things. He doesn't want to work. Oh, today it's raining, I won't work today, I will take rest. And serious bad quality, he gets easily irritated if somebody comes and says some small thing to him, he becomes easily irritated. And then very grave bad quality is no loyalty. And another example is mood of inability in team playing. He cannot, when individuality, if it comes to individual, he, if the task has been given to him individually, he can perform the task very nicely. But when it comes to team playing, he cannot work with a team. And that is some serious bad quality what a person acquires. So inner qualities, all of us are good, but we acquire these bad qualities. The example has been given, just like when a rain drop falls from the sky, it is pure water, but the moment it touches the ground, it immediately acquires the bad quality. Similarly, we as a spirit soul, all of us have got good qualities, good innate qualities. But as soon as we come in touch with this material world, we acquire the bad qualities. So now let us go through this self test. So I request all of you to go through this self test and test yourself what is your personality type. So I'm giving I have put three pictures in front of all of you. And now just try to understand what is your personality type. So this and the first picture, there is a boss and he is going to there is a boss in the first picture, second picture, and the third picture. Now I'll first explain the third one. Now this boss, when he's seeing the work is not happening properly, then he's becoming very morose. He's going into anxiety and he started thinking that why it is happening, the employees are not working properly, what will happen to my company. And in the first picture, this boss is going to the employees, he's speaking to them, he wanted to discuss, he wants to know how the work is progressing. I request everyone to please mute yourself.
ચલો જોઈ લે.
So he's requesting, he is going to the employees and he's speaking to them and he's understanding there and how the work is going on. Here in the first picture, this boss he is in Satogun, goodness. And in the third picture, this boss is in ignorance, Tamogun. And in the second picture, this boss is going to the employee and he's shouting. He's going and he's shouting and saying that you don't know how to work, you don't know how to do this task. Now, in the second picture, I would request if any one of you can unmute yourself and can answer this question if it is possible. Who is suffering? The boss is suffering or the employee is suffering? In the second picture, when a boss is going to an employee and is shouting, who is suffering? The boss or the employee? Anyone would like to answer this question? Who is suffering this?
I think boss.
Okay, boss.
Sir, I think both is suffering.
Boss is
Boss is
suffering.
suffering, sir.
Okay.
Both.
Yes, this is the right answer. Actually, both of them are suffering. The boss is becoming angry, shouting, he's suffering, and the employee is hearing him, he is also suffering. Now, what can be the right solution if somebody comes and approach to you in this such circumstance? What could be the right solution you can give to him? What can be the best solution for the such kind of a scenario or situation? How we can improve both of their suffering?
Move towards sattva guna, goodness.
Okay, then how it can be done? What
Discuss
is that?
Feeling
patiently.
of equality and humanity on the basis of that.
Okay, that I understood, but now we
Sir,
have to give a practical
sir,
solution
knowing,
for this problem.
sir, knowing about the self quality, then we are able to come out from this situation.
Okay, okay, okay. Now we have to give the solution to this boss and the employee. What can be done? So,
Sir, identifying the weaknesses of that employee and guiding him and encouraging him to
very
do
nice,
better further.
very nice answer. Yes, right,
A
correct.
matter of synchronization can be made.
Right. Yes. So very rightly answered, Archana ma'am. As you said, we need to identify whether this employee is really fit for the task. Maybe he's having some more good qualities, or maybe if he's been assigned with some other task, he can do it with much more better, results. And so even the boss does not need to go and fire him every day and shout on him every day. So that is one of the solution which can bring both of them in peace. If he identifies what this person can work in, or what he can do the best task. or where he can be assigned the best task, or what good qualities he is having. So we need to identify first of all our own personality type. This is very important. And so now we'll go through few tests. All of you can just understand your own personality type, whether you are in satogun, the mode of goodness, whether you are in rajogun, the mode of passion, and whether you are in ignorance, the mode tamogun. So these are certain example how a person, these are the symptoms of a person who is in the mode of ignorance. Nidra, alasya, and pramad. Such kind of people who are in the mode of ignorance, they are lazy, they oversleep. Why they oversleep? Because they are into anxiety. They think, let me sleep, and that is the solution for my all problem. They are inattentive, and because of inattentiveness, they are less focused, they postpone, and they are dull, they are hopeless. They become hopeless because they are inattentive, they cannot do work properly, and so they go into this hopeless situation. They become depressed, madness, and then they get these suicidal thoughts. Oh, I am fit for nothing, let me finish my life. And then sometimes when out of depression, anxiety, they takes up to intoxication. They take this intoxicants thinking that this is going to solve their problem. They become more and more confused, indecisive. They cannot take decision properly whether to go this way, that way, how to progress. They feel insecurity. They become much more fearful. They become fearful of what people will think about me. I am unable to do this task. And then, or either they do not think anything. They think, let this life go as it wants to go. I won't work. I'll be inattentive. I am lazy. I will sleep. And these are certain symptoms of a person who is in the mood of ignorance. Is compared to a fox, because a fox always lives on the food which the other animal has catched a prey, and he has killed the animal, he has eaten, and the leftover is being taken by the fox. So fox is always dependent on others. So when I take this presentation, sometimes the university college for the students, I give this example where I tell them, just like there are some students who are always dependent on others to finish their assignments, and then they take the assignment copy and they just simply copy that. But there are few students who take up this task and they finish, first of all, their assignment by full attentiveness. So Fox is always dependent on others, and this is the symptom of a person who is in the mode of ignorance. And now, mode of passion is compared to a tiger. So he is over ambitious. He's always, want to go in. He cannot work with team. He is a very individual player. He tells everyone, you sit, I will do the work. And then others will ask, then what should we do? You clap for me, what work I am doing. So he's always an individual player, and he's full of pride. He thinks, oh, the work has been done by because of me. None of them has done any work. And if somebody does better than him, then he becomes angry. He becomes furious. He starts thinking he wants to pull him down, and then he becomes envious if somebody is doing better than him. Then he has a bossing tendency. He wants to boss over, he wants to control everyone. And then he becomes attached to the results what he is gaining for the team or for the company. And he wants to show his glamour, and then he goes to cutthroat competition. He's he's in a competition, and to make himself in front of all the people with whom he is working, he can do anything. And such kind of a people, they are come under the mode of passion, and such kind of a leaders are not good leaders. I'll give you one example. There was this one man, and he went to Honda company, and he submitted this his file. He was a newcomer, and he went to, for an interview, and he said that instead of using the water jet for cooling, you can use air coolers. So he has given this advice, and the HR manager who was taking the interview, he became very furious, angry. Oh, you are a newcomer, you are giving advice to us. And he fired him. He said, you go away, you are not being selected. And so this man went away, Now this file reached to the owner of Honda, and then he was going through this file and he said, oh, this man has given such a good idea. He has given that file to the team, and they worked upon it whether it is possible to use air coolers. And so they use this, they bring out this technology of air cooling, and then it was found that it was really helpful. Then they searched out for this man, called him, and he became the CEO of Honda company. I just can't recollect his name. It's a Korean name, so it's difficult to pronounce. So he became the CEO of a Honda company. And so a leader who is passionate, who becomes angry and envious if some other person is doing good, can actually spoil the whole company. So this kind of a people who are in the mode of passion, they act in this way. And now, mode of goodness is compared to a cow. He is very regulated. He is simple. He is thoughtful, noble, saintly. He has a creative thinking, realized wisdom. He tolerates others' weaknesses, submissive, forgiving, friendly, calm, clear, controlled senses, and have a controlled mind. This all comes under the category of the mode of goodness. Now let us take this situation and let us this from this story. This is one of the famous story all of you must have heard. And now let us understand how we will react under such circumstance. So this one cap seller, one time he went to sell his caps and he became very tired. It was a hot sunny day. He sat beneath a tree, and while he was sitting and was leaning towards the tree, he slept off. And when he slept off, there were monkeys around him. And so the monkeys, they all took these hats and they wore these hats on their head. Now, after some time, this cap seller, he woke up
हाँ गुड
and
आफ्टरनून मैडम.
he looked them, the
ते
monkeys
थोडं
were
साकेत
wearing his hats.
ऍडजस्टमेंटमुळे मंडेचा टाइम टेबल आहे तुमचा अगोदर 1 ते 3 होतं ते
So he started looking these monkeys, they were wearing all the hats. And now a person who is in the mode of ignorance, how he will react? Can anyone help me with the answer? A person who is in the mode of ignorance, how he will react when he comes under such situation where all the caps is been worn by the monkeys? A person in the mode of ignorance, how he will react? Anyone? A person in the mode of ignorance, how will react? Okay, I'll give the answer for this. A person in the mode of ignorance, he will immediately start crying, thinking that, oh, my business is lost. And he will take the no empty basket and he'll go home, and throughout the week, throughout the month, he will be crying, thinking that my whole business is lost. And that kind of a reaction, a person who is in the mode of ignorance will react to such situation. How a person in the mode of passion will react to such situation? Anyone? How the person in the mode of passion will react to such situation?
He would have started beating all monkeys and running behind them.
Yes, right, correctly said. So he will immediately take up the stake, or he will take up the stones and he will start throwing on the monkeys, thinking that if he will throw the stones, then the monkey will return the cap. But do the monkey will return their cap? No, they will jump to another tree. So this is also not the solution. But a person in the mode of passion will act in such a way. Then how a person in the mode of goodness will act? Anyone? What how a person who is in satogun, who is in the mode of goodness, he will act in such situation? If you are in such a situation, how you will act? That is the answer. Satogun, in mode of goodness, how a person will react in such situation? Oh, I have received so many answers from the students and right one. The faculties of the students are not answering.
He will be happy to see that monkeys are wearing his
No,
caps.
no, no.
Uh, we'll try to give some eatable to the monkey, the thing they want, so that they can have that and return.
No. So a person in the mode of goodness, he will be very thoughtful. He will think the monkey have the tendency to imitate. They imitate. So he will take his hat and will throw in the basket. And when all the monkeys they will imitate him, then all the monkeys will also take their hats and will throw in the basket. And so that person who is very thoughtful in the mode of goodness, he will act in such situation like this, and he will get all his hats, will take the basket and will go home. So we also come across many situations in our life, and how we react in general is we react in the mode of passion. We become angry on the persons. We think this situation is because of this person. I have been into this situation because of this person. And we start blaming them. Instead of becoming thoughtful and to improve the situation and how to tackle that more nicely, for that we need to develop Satogun. And in this human form of life, we have got this opportunity available to all of us that we can bring ourselves from the mode of ignorance to mode of goodness, or from mode of passion to mode of goodness. That is available to all of us in this human form of life. And how to do that, that I'm going to explain. So, enlightened soul, a noble man of perfection, love, and so what a noble leader is. A noble leader is a combination of both Rajasic and Sattvic, and that is called as Raj Rishi. So he's not just Rajasic. He is very enthusiastic, because enthusiasm without patience is like controlling power. Then he will be controlling everyone. But if a person is with enthusiasm and with full of patience, then is going to bring him as a great leader. That is going to bring him as a good leader. So we need to be a combination of both Sattvic and Rajasic if we want to work in this world. And that was the people used to do in the Vedic ages. Like I've given the example of Arjun. He is a great archer, a king. He is standing in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and at the same time he is receiving the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So we have to be combination of both. So we have to stand for principles and values, and sometimes we need to be harsh to respect the values and to respect the principles. So what are we? Are we a good planner? We plan things very nicely, but then we are not able to implement the plans properly, or we just keep on doing the work but we don't plan whatever comes to us, or we plan and we keep on doing our work and we don't interact with people, or either we are too interactive. Throughout the day we are interacting with people and we have forgotten our own work, what kind of a person we are. So if you are a good planner, then you can give a plus. And if you are a good planner and a good doer, then for good doing is plus. And you interact with people also nicely, for that is also a plus. And if you are not a good planner, then a minus. So this is the test. If you are good in planning, doing, and interacting, then you are a balanced person, which is very rare to find. And if you are good in planning, doing, but not good in interacting, then you do your own things well. But when it comes to helping others, then you fail. You are a good, you are not a good planner, you are just doing your work and interacting with people, then you do others' priorities well. Then you forget your own work and you keep on doing the others' work. And so if you are a good planner and not good doer and good interactor, then you have good intention, but no works get done because we are not good in doing. So what kind of a person we are? is we need to first of all self introspect, and I think all of you are doing that because this is very important. Then you, when in the end of the slide I'll give you the conclusion, you'll all be able to relate from it. So are you a daydreamer, workaholic, or people friendly but poor at finishing work? It's another test. So only he's planning, he's thinking today I will do this work, today I will do that, and then he does not do any work, and he does not interact also. He's a daydreamer, and he's good in doing but no planning, and no good in interaction. Then he's workaholic. He's always doing work. But when he's been asked who is sitting next to you, he does not even know the name. So then where we need to stand? So this is another important principles if we want to get happiness in our life, and is how do we manage our time decides our happiness. So four hormones are not released due to overtime spent with media and gadgets. And so today the world is completely based on the gadgets and the media. And if a person is spending too much time in all that, then the four hormones are not released. And what are these four hormones has been told here. Dopamine, feeling of sense of completion. Because he's too much into the gadgets, he's unable to finish his own work. And so he does not get the hormone, dopamine, because he's unable to finish his task. And then feeling healthy and joyful because he's throughout the day sitting and doing work on the social media or using the gadgets, then he does not have time for his own self to take care of his health, and therefore this hormone does not release. He does not feel happiness. And that feeling for selfless contribution, he himself is unable to do his own work. Where is the question of contributing it to the society, to the friends, and to the family? And therefore this hormone serotonin does not get released, and therefore he does not feel any happiness. And oxytocin, feeling of social connection. And these days you yourself will see the people around the world, they don't want to interact with people. There was a time when people used to sit in a train and they used to speak to the person who is sitting next to them. And these days a person goes, sits in a train, takes out his mobile phone or a laptop, puts an earphone into the ears and start listening to a music, watching a video, or seeing a movie, and he doesn't even know which stations are passing by, who is sitting next to them, and that is the situation. So all these four hormones are not getting released because of today's so-called technological advancement. And who is getting affected with? All of us are getting affected, especially the youth. They are getting affected. So this, although this is a very important session which I generally take, is time management metrics, but I just briefly will touch upon this. So if the time is divided into four quadrant, quadrant one is quadrant of action, quadrant second is quadrant of quality, quadrant third is quadrant of deception, and quadrant four is quadrant of waste. So actually, quadrant one is crisis and deadlines. Sometimes we reach to in a situation of crisis. Like for example, if you have been told that the gas is going to get over in the next 3 days, and we are thinking, okay, we still have 3 days, we'll get a gas cylinder. And while the cooking is being done and the sabji, the vegetable is half boiled, and the gas got over, now you have reached to a crisis situation. Now I'll be calling all your friends and family members, asking them, do you have a gas cylinder? Do you have a gas cylinder? And so instead of reaching to that situation, crisis situation, one has to first plan nicely. And that comes under the category of quadrant of quality. So a person won't reach to the quadrant of crisis or quadrant of action, the first one, if he is a good planner. So quadrant of quality is training, education, empowering, planning, preventive maintenance, self-development, and relation building. All this is the most this quadrant 2 is the most important quadrant where we have to really invest our time. And yes, quadrant 1, sometimes we come across certain situation where our health or somebody's health get really deteriorated, and then we have to go into this deadlines, breakdown, maintenance, health crisis, or high attrition. But the quadrant third and quadrant fourth are not at all. So just like quadrant of deception and quadrant of waste. So these third quadrant and fourth quadrant are not at all important. But if you see, most of us are today are engaged in the quadrant third and quadrant fourth. Unproductive engagement, time wasters, then phone calls for information, drop in unexpected visitors, pressing trivial matters. This third and fourth quadrant we need to delete from our time, and we have to work on the quadrant number second. And that is how, if we manage our time properly, then we will be having time to contribute for others, for self introspection, and then working on our own self. So these are some practical scenarios which I have brought, and all of you need to answer in which mood this belongs to. It is in goodness, passion, or ignorance, because I just want to understand whether you have really understood what does goodness, passion, and ignorance means. So never setting goals or setting goals and not sticking to them. In which mode it comes? Never setting goals or setting goals and not sticking to them. Goodness, passion, or ignorance?
Ignorance.
Yes, rightly said. So it comes under ignorance. Moving around and socializing too much to feel security. Goodness, passion, or ignorance?
So goodness.
No.
Passion.
It comes under ignorance because he is moving around and socializing to feel security. If it would be just simple moving around and socializing, it would have come under passion. But to feel security, he wants to feel secure. That's why he's moving around, comes under ignorance. Low level of concentration, getting easily distracted by trivial things, comes under the category of
Ignorance.
yes. It comes and no, it comes under the mode of passion. Doing more than one thing at a time and accepting unrealistic deadlines.
It is comes under passion. Passion.
Yes, right, right. Getting involved in everything to gain credit and popularity.
So goodness.
No.
No, it's passion.
Yes, passion. Indecisive and postponing decisions.
In this ignorance.
Yes, ignorance. Thinking no one else can manage my work if I am absent. He comes under which category?
Passion.
Anyone thinks the other answer?
Goodness.
You can, yeah.
Ignorance.
Goodness.
Uh, it is passion. No one else can manage my work. He is thinking that only I can do this task, and only I, because if I am there, then this task will happen. Otherwise, it cannot happen. Comes under passion. Feeling difficulty to work with highly accomplished and smart leaders. When he sees other person is working better than him, he cannot work. He feels difficulty. Comes under
Passion. Passion.
anyone? What other things? Passion?
Ignorance.
Passion.
So we, yes, it comes under the passion. He becomes envious of others who are doing better than them. Forgetting things or badly organized, unclean desk. Very easy to.
Ignorance.
Yes, ignorance. Looking for too much perfection in job leading to micromanagement. He's going and checking out small things. Comes under which category?
Goodness.
No, it comes under
Passion.
passion. Yes. So now I think all of you must have understood that in various modes we all work and which mode we need to really come upon. And so now I'm about to reach to the conclusion of the session that how we can really come to mode of goodness and what is the process being told and what is the process we need to go through to come to this mode of goodness. So there are two R's which we all are looking for in our lives. When it comes to personal life, we look for good relationship for joy. And when it comes to our professional life, we look for results to bring joy. So these are the two R's which we all are looking for, and we need to introspect and work upon these two R's. When it comes to our personal life, we need to have good relationship, and we need to invest time in that to make good relationship with people around us. And when it comes to our work, yes, we need to work for the results. So these are the two R's which a person needs to work upon. And so smart workers focus on improving communication with people. Then he prepares better planning and organizing, taking better care of self, then seizing new opportunities because he is properly managing his time. So he will look out for new opportunities where I can get new opportunity. He look out for his personal development, and then he takes a preventive maintenance. What is preventive maintenance? As I told the example of gas cylinder, no, running out of gas, and then he prepares in advance. So preventive maintenance, and then he empower people. He does not keep things holding to things everything. He empower people, and then he sees them, he manages them, and that is how a smart leader works. Items that boost mood of goodness in us. So now, how we can reach to the mode of goodness? This is the solution which has been available to all of us and very easy to practice is association of saintly whose hearts are filled with positive qualities of love, compassion, devotion, etc. So there is a saying in English which says association is the cause of acquiring qualities. The kind of people we associate with, we acquire their qualities. If we are living with people who are always bad mouthing about people, who are always negative, then we also develop such qualities. Or if we are living with people who are always positive, they're seeing the life in a very positive perspective, they have this quality of compassion, love, then we also develop such qualities. So we must associate with saintly people whose hearts will fill with positive qualities of love, compassion, and devotion. And then second, books, study and application of wisdom books. So reading spiritual books like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read such books and when we try to implement those teachings in our life, that help us to bring us to the platform of goodness. And then third one, chanting and meditation. I'm going to tell you about this. To meditate and to chant the names is something which will immediately bring you to the mode of goodness. And then diet and exercise. They all must be aware of it. From the past 2 years, the time period which we all are going through, we all have understood the value of our health. So fruits, milk, grains, cereals, vegetables, all this help us to boost ourselves to the mode of goodness. And then avoiding unfavorable ambience and accepting a spiritual ambience. So avoiding such places which immediately bring us to mode of ignorance. Just like I give this example, uh, if you go to a club and there you try to meditate or to chant, it is not possible. to do that. In a club which is full of ignorance and passion, you cannot meditate, go and meditate there. So you need to find an ambience, a spiritual ambience, where you can practice chanting, meditation, reading books, and improving yourself to the mode of goodness. What is mantra meditation, chanting and meditation? So mantra means, man means mind, and tra means to deliver the mind. So there were many studies which was being done in his doctorate thesis, effects of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on stress, depression, and the three gunas. Dr. David Brian Wolf mentioned that by chanting Hare Krishna mantra regularly, persons who habitually think depressing thoughts such as I am worthless train themselves to replace these thoughts with thoughts that are rewarding and supportive of self-esteem. So there are many mantras which a person can chant and meditate, and but this is something which I do practice from past 10 years, and this is really has got an effect on me. So generally I recommend, if you don't have any mantra, you can chant this mantra of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which comes like Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So these sound vibrations, when they are produced from our mouth, and when we hear the same sound vibration, it immediately bring us to the mode of goodness, and that the taste of the pudding is in the eating. When you will do this, you will realize that yes, it has really brought you to the level of goodness. So even some, you might feel, oh, this belongs to a Hindu religion, therefore I am saying that there are many mantras. Any mantra which is belongs to your religion, you can chant that, but the mantra meditation really helps a person to bring him to the level of goodness. So what are the chanting of benefits of chanting Mahamantra? So we all have got a brain wave frequency. And so it is scientifically proven that a person who is having the three less than three is in the sleepy zone, drowsiness zone. He's always, lethargic. And a person having brainwave frequency more than 13, he goes into active zone. In Japan, there were people who actually their brainwave frequency went above 15, and they died at that same spot because they went into this hyperactive zone. So what is the best zone to remain in is from 18 to 13. And when we do mantra meditation, actually our brain wave frequency comes in this zone from 18 to 13, and then we feel relaxed. When we do chanting, it burn away the bad habits, and these are some important personalities all around the world who do chanting, and they have found the real big change in their lives, which says, if I start my day on a spiritual note by chanting Hare Krishna, I can make it through the day in pleasant mode. And Alfred Ford, he said, I started chanting on my Japa Mala and studying Prabhupada books, chanting Lord Krishna's name changed my lifestyle. He is the owner of Ford Company. George Harrison, which is one of the famous musician, he says, no matter how much money you have got, it doesn't necessarily make you happy. You have to find your happiness with the problems you have, not worry too much about them, and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he is quoting this. So this is one very nice video of E. Sridharan, who has actually made this what do you call Delhi Metro. So he is sharing his experience and how he was bringing himself in the mode of goodness. Because if I am saying, you might think that because I'm practicing this, that's why I'm saying this. But how much it is important, I've already told about the chanting. How much is it important to read book like Bhagavad Gita? So he's sharing his own experience.
Why are successful people waking up at 4?
Stories that come out of something like this. What was a day in your life like when you were working on the metro?
Well, normal thing, I used to get up at 4:30.
4:30? Who gets up at 4:30?
In Delhi, I used to wake up at 4:30. Nowadays, I wake up at 4 o'clock in Kerala.
That's the secret of all efficiency, I tell you.
4:30 I get up, then I do the normal routines and then do some pranayam. Then I read Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, for about 45 minutes
Every day.
every day, religiously, whenever I am at headquarters. Because when I am on tour or traveling, it's not possible. Then afterwards, we have our, I do some yoga. I do yoga about 45 minutes, have my breakfast, and leave for the office early. I'm one of the first to reach the office.
Yeah,
Well before.
the reverse clock is running in your head 24/7, I see. But I've also heard that you also never carry files at home and nobody can call you unless it's an emergency, which is like the best way to do things. Is that right? Or is that a rumor?
No, it's true. I don't carry work home if I could manage it. Because I always felt that at home I must have the time privately for myself and my family. Unless there's an emergency, I don't encourage people to contact me also over phone.
This is nothing short of a perfect life.
But then in the office we are very busy. Everything is done in the office.
Yes.
So 9 to 5:30, we manage to complete all the works within that time.
I was reading about you and it said that you've been transferred about 25 times. And I think the wisdom of the Gita, somewhere you said, had kept you grounded. Is that correct?
Well, to be precise, in my first 15 years of service on the Indian Railways, I got 25 transfers.
How is that possible?
So somehow it happened like that.
Okay.
Some of it is, I would say, planned, planned for my future career, because they wanted me to expose to various aspects of railway working. That is one way. The other was because I was handy available as a bachelor. I can be shunted anywhere. That was another reason, perhaps.
So you saw a lot of the country.
Yes, but that really helped me quite a lot. And it also helped me to evolve a philosophy that one should not take transfers as a punishment.
So you actually converted the punishment into a possibility to understand and explore a little more.
I won't call it a punishment. I would say it's an opportunity given.
What is it about the Gita that inspires you so much that you read the Bhagavatam every single day?
It gives practical tips how to solve the day-to-day problems of life. And that is what is required. In any professional life, there are so many problems coming up, and Gita helps you how to tackle these problems.
That's going to inspire a lot of people out there to go and read the Gita if they haven't really.
I think it is required.
Do you recall anything offhand that you read in the Gita that you still live with today?
Yes. So this is the importance of reading book Bhagavad Gita, which has helped many people all around the world, which will bring us to the mode of goodness, what we are talking about. And when we are in the mode of goodness, we can see the life in a different perspective, and then that can bring us the real joy and happiness in our lives. And also, to get up early in the morning is also another one important thing which will help us to bring us to the mode of goodness. And so Tulsi Gabbard, a United States representative, what she has to say on reading Bhagavad Gita. She says the Bhagavad Gita is the perfect textbook for those who are striving to be servant leaders, and its message is relevant for all days and ages. It is relevant today as it has always been, and as it is always will be, regardless of your age, where you come from, what language you speak, what gender. I have gradually been able to understand my true identity, who I really am, my spiritual essence, my purpose in life. So this is important understanding and important principles what we need to learn is Chanakya Pandit says a proactive leader must shun the following 8 activities, and he says craving for carnal pleasures, losing temper, becoming angry, unhealthy comparison, greed, craving for gratifying tongue, obsessed with personal beautification, moving in fear for entertainment, excessive sleeping, and overindulgence in entertainment. So, a proactive leader who wants to become a good leader, he must shun all these 8 activities. And so, there's the conclusion of my whole talk is to derive the happiness. We have got a definition that has to be changed. and that can be changed when we are in the mood of goodness, because the mood of goodness bring us to the higher taste, and when we develop a higher taste, automatically we leaves the lower taste, and the higher taste develops in the mode of goodness. And reaching to the mode of goodness, the various things what we can do is, one and foremost is chanting and meditation. And the chanting and meditation can is chanting of the holy name Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all of you can practice. And reading books like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, when you daily read that, it will improve your knowledge and will bring you to the right intelligence to discriminate what is good and what is bad. And that is going to give you the true joy, the true contentment in your life with all things what you have in your life. So I thank you very much for all of you to hearing me patiently. And so if you like to be a part of our daily reading of Bhagavad Gita, if you don't find your time yourself and then you want to 15 minutes every day we read in the night, one shloka or 15 minutes, even if sometimes two shlokas we read. So if you want to read with us online, then you can text me, WhatsApp me on this number. This is my number 73400235513. My name is Raghav Charan Das. And so if you are WhatsApping me, texting me, then you just mention your name and from the branch or uh, the stream which you are teaching, that you can mention so that it will be easy for me to identify. And so, and also if you want to be part of the meditation session which we do every day for 10 minutes, so 15 minutes Bhagavad Gita, 10 minutes of mantra meditation, then I'm telling you, you just practice it for 7 days on my saying. You just come and attend for 7 days, and if after 7 days you don't find any change, if you feel that there is no change I can see, then leave it. But just on my saying, you do it for 7 days. So this is the number. You can text me, WhatsApp me, and you can even call me if you have anything to ask, you want to share, you want to have anything to say. You can also call me. I am available to all of you. Thank you so much for hearing me patiently. It's my great fortune to address all of you, although all of you are such so senior to me, and still you have given me so much respect and value. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity, especially to Manipal University. If anyone has any question, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Anyone, if anyone is having any question to ask. And if there are no questions, so I'd like to end the session.
Thank you, Prabhu,
Thank you.
for this wonderful session. And we keep on hearing these good things, and it's mandatory that we keep on hearing. There is no other way to mend ourselves and the habits, the kind of habits which we have somehow created. So I think this session will help us in moving that right direction and live a more meaningful life. Obviously, all material is needed, but the direction is very important, and that's why such lectures and such sessions are almost mandatory, because without that direction, whatever we do, the kind of activities, they are meaningless. Thank you again very much, Prabhu, and we look forward to have more such sessions whenever God permit us.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Uh, participants, thank you, Prabhu. We can have a group photograph. Vijay sir, you can invite Prabhuji again to join for a photograph.
Just a
Yeah,
second, sir. Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sorry for muted.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience and the sincerity with which you have listened this session. Thank you all. We'll meet in the next session, the last one, valedictory session. We'll have a quiz at 3 and then we'll have a valedictory ceremony. So see you on 3 p.m.